So Susie, welcome. We're really excited you're here.
I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, we were talking earlier, teachers and educational leaders are like giving all day long and doing great work. Why should we as educators be thinking about what we're eating?
Well, basically our nutrition is our platform to well-being. So when we go to work and we haven't started the day with a good breakfast and we're using huge amounts of energy, we feel tired and lethargic, and of course you get to 3 or 4 o'clock and then binge eat everything in sight. So particularly for these sort of really high energy demand professions where you're giving all day, it's so crucial to get on top of your nutrition, and planning is absolutely the key to success when it comes to taking control.
So it really is the fuel we need to do the work we're doing in the ways we want to do it. Is that true? Yeah.
It's the fuel on a daily basis, 100%. But it's not just having the knowledge about what we've got to eat. It's about creating the structures and the plans to make sure that the day rolls smoothly, like a lesson plan.
Yes.
If you don't have that with your own self-care and specifically with your food, you become what I call a victim of your food environment. And that means you're just eating whatever you can find at the canteen or the staff room. And inevitably, it's not what we really need to be at our physical best, and often compromising our health long term.
Well, it brings me to the next question, because what typically can happen is I'm stressed, so we can turn to carbohydrates or sugar or caffeine. So why is that a problem if we're trying to get our energy when we're stressed to be turning those types of foods?
Well, the issue is when you haven't created your nutrition platform is that your blood glucose levels really fluctuate through the day. And then you get on that cycle of eating carbs and having caffeine and having the hit of energy and then the drop. And that's, of course, when we tend to be overeating, particularly the refined sugars, and it leads us predisposed to weight gain long term. So the secret to success is always starting the day with protein. Because when we've had a protein-rich meal first thing in the morning, it really helps to regulate our glucose levels through the day. And in my experience working with teachers, the energy demands are high in the mornings. Really, that first part of the day when you're teaching until recess is the point where you're using huge amounts of energy. So you've got to hit the ground running with a protein-rich breakfast, something like your eggs, a protein shake, a toasted sandwich, something substantial to keep you going. Because if not, you're always behind the 8 ball, and all day you'll find yourself lacking in energy and seeking out those carb-rich foods, which will give you an energy hit for an hour or two, but then inevitably you're feeling tired and lethargic again a couple of hours later.
It reminds me, because I meet a lot of educators who tell me they haven't eaten breakfast. So that's a great message about eat it, and also thinking about protein in that so we hit the ground running. So in the day, what are some things that we should be turning to that's going to help us sustain our energy? So if it's snacks or drinks, do you have some recommendations for us that we should be either bringing to school or maybe looking for at school?
Absolutely. So the first thing is definitely start the day with something. I'm not a fan of fasting for teachers because I find it leaves them too hungry later in the morning, and then you're just catching yourself all day starving. The next rule is take with you some protein-rich snacks to school. And the reason I say that is it's really difficult to find at canteens and cafes the kinds of foods you need, because at those places they've got sandwiches and wraps and banana breads and muffins. It's all really heavy carbohydrate based. So you need to try and pack at least one thing each day. The gold standard is leftovers. If you've got something from dinner, you can pack and actually have your biggest meal at recess. That's the secret to success. It gives you the platform for the day so you don't find yourself hungry in the afternoon. But the next best options you can do are things like a protein bar, a cheese and crackers, a Greek yogurt with some berries, just one food that's got protein in it. And then if you're super organized and pack your lunch, as I would suggest mums do for their kids, pack our lunch the night before or the morning of when you're doing the rest of the families, put in there some sort of salad, some cut up vegetables, some cheese and crackers, some nuts, and you'll find that grazing on those healthy, nutritious foods at the recess break, at the lunch break, mean you don't have that really fluctuating energy in the second half of the day, and less likely to be binging on the biscuits or whatever's around when you get to that low sugar point.
I'm just on a personal note, my blood sugar goes like this, so I have to eat consistently. So if anyone sees me presenting at their school, I always have almonds. I travel with almonds because of my blood sugar drops. I can't, it impacts me. So I'll have almonds in my backpack or my briefcase all the time.
There you go.
So the last question I've got is, a lot of people are getting food at the canteen or cafeteria. So if that's what happens, let's say we forgot to pack lunch, what should we be leaning towards at that canteen that's going to help bring out the best in us?
Because we're not perfect, and it does happen, and there's no need to feel guilty about that. It's about knowing what the better choices are. And of course, the issue in many schools is we can't necessarily have the nuts either, so it's knowing what the alternatives are. So I would say look for protein. So if there's some sort of sandwich or wrap with tuna or ham or chicken, that's going to be much better than a snack food like some banana bread or a muffin. A milk-based coffee, some yogurt, a cheese and crackers, these are foods that are good choices. But one of the best tips I use with my
Yeah.
own clients is the first one is pack your lunch the night before or the morning of, so you've got your food there. But the next one is just to order some snacks and have them at work, because you know the supermarkets all do meal delivery to school. And so the issue for many of us is we're busy and we forget and we walk out the door without the snacks we need. But if you want to get super organised this year, order a Woolies delivery once every fortnight or once a month to school, and then you can order your yogurts and your cheese and crackers and your protein bars, pack them away so no one else steals them.
That's right, in the refrigerator. Yeah.
Or pack yourself a cooler bag so you've got something in the lunch, and then you've got your snacks there.
That's a great idea.
And that's an easy way. I use it with my executives and my teachers who want to keep on top of your nutrition, because otherwise we tend to become a victim of our food environment, and very rarely are the ideal foods we need to eat well on hand and easy to find. So having them delivered is just another convenient option that you can use to make sure you've got the food on hand you need to eat well.
Oh, come on. That is a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So we always like to ask the group a question. So our question is this. There's all these educators from all over the world you're watching, and we want to know, what do you do to eat well? What's your strategy as an educational leader or teacher? So some of the best conversations take place in the comment section, and Susan and I will check them out. So we want to hear what you do. So Susie, thank you so much. I love the idea of ordering the stuff. What a great idea. I really wanted you here because there's all these great educators doing great work who are looking to find ways to bring out the best in them, and your work does that. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for being here, and remember, planning is the key to dietary success.
Planning is the key. Thank you for the work you do for the world. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.